Private sector development is an important ongoing trend in the field of development cooperation. Governments support local markets in developing countries by investing in companies that do business there. The idea is that such investments lead to local job creation, knowledge transference, and general development. A new government policy emphasizes the role of business in development cooperation. Indeed, the only budget that is due to increase significantly over the next few years is that of private sector development. Whilst there is no doubt over the potential that the private sector can certainly play in development, there are serious concerns as to the way the Dutch government is implementing the current agenda. Take, for example, the Dutch Development Bank, FMO, one channel via which to invest in private sector development. FMO often tends to work through financial intermediaries, but just what are the risks associated with working like this? We take a critical look at a big private sector project in Laos, funded through a private equity fund FMO is currently cooperating with. We have a hard time in establishing whether this investment is actually benefiting poor communities and addressing negative social and environmental impacts adequately.
The Nam Ngum 2 Dam is a project that we know very little information about. It's located in a security zone, which makes it illegal to even visit. Many of the project documents were never released to the public, including the environmental impact assessment. What we do know is from researchers that have been able to gain access to the site. And they said 17 villages were forcibly resettled to one megacity. When you build a hydropower dam, you begin to change the hydrology of the river. At times, the water levels can be erratic, and this in turn hurts fish migration. At the same time, you have a structure that blocks fish from being able to migrate. There's also a lot of riverbank erosion, and that takes away people's riverbank gardens. All of these negative impacts then hurt the people that live along these rivers. They fish every day, they grow rice, they use the water from the river, they can drink it, they cook with it, and it's also a very important source for their culture. Right now, with Laos building these dams in order to generate revenue, what we've seen is there's no evidence that any of this revenue is actually benefiting the local people.
First, we zoom in. FMO manages the Infrastructure Development Fund that is directly funded by the Dutch development budget. It was via this fund that the FMO allocated $12.5 million to the Mekong-Brahmaputra Clean Development Fund. In 2010, this private equity fund, registered in tax haven Guernsey, received $45 million from foreign investors to invest in clean energy projects and dams. Through the Laotian energy company EDL, the Mekong-Brahmaputra Fund put money into the operation of the Nam Ngum 2 hydropower dam. This dam, across a major tributary to the Mekong River, is part of Laos's development strategy to generate electricity both for the domestic market and for exports. But indirectly, Dutch development money is being used to support a highly controversial project. There are strong indications that the proposed dams in the Nam Ngum River basin are having serious negative impacts on the livelihoods of tens of millions of people living downstream.
We don't know where this money is going. Laos does not have a transparent system of accountability in place. At the same time, there's many other forms of electricity that exist, many more that are much more sustainable than hydropower. Unfortunately, these are energies that have not been adequately considered. Hydropower is a very sensitive issue inside Laos. It's very difficult to be critical of government plans. A few months ago, one of our partners that worked for an international NGO, she was expelled from the country. Another local partner disappeared and hasn't been seen since.
So let's review. The investment in the Laotian energy company is merely one example whereby we see information from the ground is lacking, and both positive and negative impacts on local communities remain hidden. Looking at future private sector development projects, including those financed by FMO, it's essential that the Dutch government commits to becoming fully transparent and accountable for the activities they invest in. Projects should prioritise sustainable development objectives and local needs, clarify how they contribute to poverty reduction, and be managed in a participatory manner, allowing for consultations with civil society and local communities every step of the way.